Live from New York City, it's the Gary Null Show. And now, your host, Gary Null.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gary Null, broadcasting from our studios in New York City. I welcome you. Every day, we take on the journey of health and healing, and that's what we're going to do today. Also, if you're taking certain drugs, and if you haven't been warned of the dangers, I'll give you a heads up on a few very popular ones that, well, they should be of concern. In fact, one drug I'm going to be mentioning in a few moments, they believe could be as deadly as Vioxx. Remember Vioxx killed between 60,000 and 500,000 Americans in a 4-year period. So I'll give you the latest on that. Then artificial light from digital devices at your computer lessens sleep quality. University of Houston, we'll talk about that. And then cacao flavonoids, that's your chocolate. It's a new nutraceutical, University of L'Aquila in Italy. And a lot more on health and healing. And by the way, we're also every day, Monday to Friday, noon to 1 Eastern Standard Time, and then Tuesday from 7 to 8 in the evening, where we do the Progressive Commentary Hour, which I might mention is the most downloaded show I do all week. Let's begin. This is from Washington University School of Medicine, and it's about a popular heartburn drug. It's called proton, P-R-O-T-O-N, pump inhibitors, or PPIs. And here's what you didn't know. They've been linked to a variety of health problems, including severe kidney damage, bone fractures, and dementia. And now a new study from Washington University School of Medicine in St. Louis shows that long-time use of the drugs also associated with an increased risk of death. Millions of people in the United States take proton pump inhibitors, which are widely prescribed to treat heartburn and ulcers and gastrointestinal problems. And unfortunately, the drugs are available over the counter under brand names like Prevacid and Nexium. And here's the issue. They did a major study and they found there big problems. Quote from the study: "No matter how we sliced and diced the data from this large data set, we saw the same thing. There's an increased risk of death among the users of this." That was the senior researcher. So how would I approach this, and what's the good side of this story? Why do most people have heartburn? Let's go to the cause. Most people have heartburn for these reasons. First, because they drink coffee. And coffee, though the coffee bean, the raw organic green coffee bean, is very rich in what we call ORAC, which is the measurement of antioxidants. So it's rich in polyphenols and nutrients. So by extracting just the nutrients from the coffee bean, you're doing yourself a great deal of good. But once you heat it, those things are destroyed substantially and you release different acids. It also has the problem of caffeine. So when caffeine and this acid hits the hydrochloric acid in your stomach, it is highly acidic and anabolic, and it creates gastric reflux or indigestion, or what that really means is hydrochloric acid is splashing back up into the esophagus. Now, if you look at your lips and inside your mouth, that's mucous membrane. That same mucous membrane goes down your trachea and your esophagus into your stomach and through your intestine. It's not good with acidic foods. So that's one big thing. And also when you're taking caffeine from coffee, it's a diuretic. So very important micronutrients like selenium, molybdenum, things you need, are flushed out of the system. And also it tends to create edema. It imbalances the sodium-potassium pump in the cells, so when you start drinking a lot of coffee or caffeinated beverages, you can get swelling around the body and hold a lot of extra weight until that is water weight until that's thrown off. Another thing that causes this is eating a lot of sugary foods, because sugar doesn't require digestion. It goes right into the system, immediately absorbable. So let's just say that you had something else with the sugar. Let's say you had a piece of cheesecake or a donut or a roll. That has to be broken down in the stomach. You have different enzymes like pepsin and trypsin, amylase, lipase. These are enzymes the body produces to break down these large molecules into smaller and smaller ones. But if sugar's in there, it interferes in this normal process. And therefore, you start combining the sugar, which will create acid indigestion, and you create hydrochloric acid. Now you got some severe indigestion. So people who are diabetic, people who are overweight, people who tend to eat a lot of sugary foods, tend to have a lot more gastric reflux. And then you have people that overeat. They just are eating large quantities of food, far more than what your body can digest and handle. That creates GERD. And a lot of carbonated beverages definitely create it, all those sodas. So the answer is stop doing that which causes the problem and then go in there to heal it. Now, what can heal it? First and foremost, your probiotics. About 5 to 10 billion probiotics 3 times a day. That's good for it. Then 3 glasses of raw cabbage juice a day. Cabbage juice has what we refer to, though it's not officially a vitamin, as vitamin U. But it's extremely beneficial at healing ulcers and inflammation within the stomach and Helicobacter E. pylori, the bacterium that can lead to stomach inflammation and cancer. And it does the same through your whole intestine. Aloe vera, the whole leaf aloe vera, that means the gel and the leaf. Remember, if you just have the gel is only 10%. The whole leaf is 90%. So most of your nutrients are in the leaf, not the gel. So you take them together. And you can get this in any number of brands, and you drink 2 ounces 3 times a day. Then you take the herb marshmallow, not marshmallow, marshmallow. It's an herb. And you take that at the same time. You also can take some fennel powder and anise powder, put it all in the same drink with a little ginger. So with ginger, with apple cider vinegar, with all that I just mentioned into a drink, a smoothie, that is magnificent for healing the stomach and stopping this. You can also take some cayenne, small heat units, and that'll help as well. This study comes from Singapore Institute for Clinical Science, and it was published in Clinical Nutrition, and it says that if you have a lot of folic acid and you don't have B12, that's not good. That doubles your maternal diabetes risk. Pregnant women who don't have B12 but have a lot of folic acid have, quote, a 97% increased risk of pregnancy-related diabetes. So here's the solution. Take 1 of each in equal amounts. What do I suggest? You could start at 500 micrograms of B12, 500 micrograms of folate. Take them together. That's terrific. And if you have problems with energy or you're vegan, you can take 1 milligram of each, and that'll help you. That way you're not getting an imbalance of one and not enough. Now this I found concerning. This is from Green Med Info, a very quality source of good science. And it says, our medicalized approach to pain may be putting us in harm's way. However, there are safe, natural approaches that can ease painful conditions. But that's fine. It says, is ibuprofen as deadly as Vioxx? Vioxx, V-I-O-X-X, deadly drug. And you know what's bad about Vioxx? The manufacturing scientists, the people in the corporate hierarchy, the lawyers, all knew that it was bad and deadly. And it was a Dr. David Graham, who I went to Washington and interviewed at the FDA, who warned the FDA and said this is increasing heart disease and stroke rate. And instead of saying thank you, let's warn the public, let's tell the manufacturer, get this off the market, let's ban it. Instead, Dr. Graham, was attacked with inside the FDA and sent to the hinterlands where he was just pushing papers, no longer had any authority position. Here's what this says. I'll quote this. Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, which include the over-the-counter pharmaceuticals like ibuprofen and aspirin, rank among the most widely used pharmaceuticals worldwide. Their chief mechanism of action is an inhibition of two forms of the cyclooxygenase, or COX-2, COX-1, COX-2, also known as the inflammatory agents. And then it talks about how it's a $10 billion a year industry. A lot of profit to be made. And then it talks about why these are dangerous. And I posted the article on our website. And here's what the scientists are saying now. Quote, by decreasing the vasodilatory production of COX-2 may lead to an increase activity, and that could be deadly. And then it goes on to, there was a multi-centered, randomized, placebo-controlled, double-blind trial that led Merck to withdraw Vioxx from the market, demonstrating that these events were substantial. And so now they're looking at the same information and saying, wow, these other non-steroidal anti-inflammatories are also deadly and could be killing a lot of people. We know they kill about 25 to 35,000 people per year that we know about. But could they be killing more than that? This meta-analysis that they're showing here shows that it could be extremely dangerous because they cause platelet aggregation and other issues. So my suggestion is don't use these. These are dangerous. They're natural approaches. And like ginger, 250 milligrams of ginger is enough to help stop menstrual pain. And the ginger rhizome, RHIZOME powder, you take it 4 times a day, was found to be as effective as the medicines that are used, including 400 milligrams of ibuprofen, relieving menstrual pain. And also 25 drops of thyme, THYME, vulgaris, essential oil given every 6 hours was as effective as 200 milligrams of ibuprofen for pain. And then you have white willow bark for back pain, magnesium at 1,000 milligrams, some citrate for migraines, and then your functional food like wild lettuce is terrific for turning off pain. Chicory root is terrific for turning off pain in the body. So we do have natural approaches. And tart cherry. Tart cherry is loaded with what we call anthocyanidins. And these anthocyanidins, at about 400 milligrams, are good. I would say a tablespoon of tart cherry concentrate twice a day for arthritis pain, osteoporosis pain, back pain, head pain, muscle pain. And then the best of all is black cumin seed oil. I've had people with severe pain from pancreas diseases, including pancreatitis and cancer of the pancreas, and these people have to be on very high opiates. And even that doesn't always work. But I find that when they take 1 tablespoon of black cumin seed oil, mix it, you can't take it straight, it's just too strong. But if you mix it in a smoothie, and you do that 3 times a day, it can turn off pain and inflammation, suppresses cytokine activity, suppresses tumor necrosis factors. It helps turn the heat down in the body when there's pain and allows healing to occur. So that's the latest on health and healing. I'm Gary Null.